The 20th century dawned with Europe at the peak of its global power. Vast empires ruled from London, Paris, Berlin, and Vienna stretched across the globe. Technological advancements promised a brighter future. Yet beneath this facade of progress and prosperity, dangerous tensions simmered. Europe was a continent armed and ready for war. The great powers engaged in a fierce arms race. They expanded their armies and navies at an alarming rate. New military technologies, like the machine gun and heavy artillery, promised devastating firepower. Nationalism, a potent force, surged through Europe, fueling rivalries and ambitions. Within the borders of these empires, different ethnic groups yearned for independence. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, a patchwork of nationalities, faced growing internal pressures. The Ottoman Empire, once a mighty power, teetered on the brink of collapse. In this cauldron of suspicion and animosity, alliances formed, turning Europe into a network of obligations, where a single spark could ignite a continent-wide conflagration. Historians often point to four main factors that contributed to the outbreak of World War I. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism, often shortened to main militarism. The glorification of war and military strength created an atmosphere of fear and suspicion among the European powers. Each nation sought to outdo its rivals in military might, leading to a dangerous arms race. Alliances, initially formed to maintain peace, had the opposite effect. They entangled nations in complex webs of obligation, dragging them into a conflict that many had sought to avoid. Imperialism, the pursuit of overseas colonies, fueled competition and rivalry among the European powers. The scramble for Africa and Asia created numerous flashpoints, bringing nations into direct conflict over resources and territory. Nationalism, the intense pride in one's nation and culture, also played a significant role. It fostered a sense of superiority and suspicion towards other nations, making compromise and diplomacy increasingly difficult. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie on June 28, 1914, ignited the powder keg of Europe. Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist, carried out the assassination in Sarajevo, shocking the world. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to crush Serbian nationalism. Germany offered unconditional support to Austria-Hungary. Russia mobilized to protect Serbia. Germany declared war on Russia and France. Germany's invasion of Belgium brought Britain into the conflict. Within a month, Europe was at war. Alliances designed to prevent war propelled Europe into catastrophe. The assassination remains a stark reminder of unforeseen catastrophic consequences. World War I introduced trench warfare, a new and horrific form of combat. Trenches stretched from the English Channel to Switzerland, defining the Western Front. Soldiers endured unimaginable conditions in muddy, rat-infested trenches. Constant shelling, machine gun fire, and sniper threats made life grim. Technological advancements only amplified the horrors of war. Machine guns turned battlefields into killing fields. Heavy artillery could obliterate entire trench lines. Poison gas added a new level of terror. Soldiers wore gas masks to protect from deadly fumes. Early tanks were slow and unreliable. Airplanes added a new dimension to warfare. Section 5. The Eastern Front and the Russian Revolution. While trench warfare raged on the Western Front, the Eastern Front was characterized by greater mobility and, well, even greater brutality. Russia, initially committed to the war effort, faced mounting losses and internal turmoil. The Tsarist regime, already weakened by corruption and inefficiency, crumbled under the pressure of war. In 1917, revolution swept through Russia, toppling the Tsar and bringing the Bolsheviks to power. The Bolshevik government, led by Vladimir Lenin, signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany in 1918, ending Russia's involvement in the war. Russia's exit allowed Germany to transfer troops to the Western Front, temporarily bolstering their forces but ultimately failing to secure victory. Section 6. America enters the fray. The United States, initially neutral, entered the war in 1917 on the side of the Allies. Several factors contributed to America's decision to intervene, including German submarine warfare, which targeted American merchant ships, and the Zimmermann telegram, a secret diplomatic cable intercepted by the British, in which Germany proposed an alliance with Mexico against the United States. The arrival of American troops, fresh and well-equipped, provided a much-needed morale boost to the Allied forces, who had been fighting for years. American troops helped to stem the German advance, and ultimately played a decisive role in the Allied victory. The entry of the United States into World War I marked a turning point in the conflict, shifting the balance of power in favor of the Allies, and ultimately ensuring their victory. Section 7. The Tide Turns, Allied Victories and the Armistice. By 1918, Germany and its allies were exhausted and facing defeat. The German spring offensive failed at a tremendous cost. The Allies, bolstered by American troops, launched successful counteroffensives. Germany realized that victory was impossible. On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed, ending the fighting. The guns fell silent on the 11th hour of the 11th day. The world rejoiced, but the cost of victory was staggering. Millions lay dead, empires had crumbled, and Europe lay in ruins. Section 8. The Treaty of Versailles and its Legacy. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended World War I and aimed to prevent future conflicts. However, the treaty, driven by a desire for retribution rather than reconciliation, imposed harsh punishments on Germany. Germany was forced to accept blame for the war, cede territory, disarm its military, and pay massive reparations to the victors. The treaty, widely seen as unjust and humiliating by the German people, sowed the seeds of resentment that would contribute to the rise of extremism and the outbreak of World War II just 2 decades later. The Treaty of Versailles serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of punitive peace treaties and the importance of addressing the root causes of conflict. Section 9. A World Forever Changed. World War I, the war to end all wars, tragically failed to live up to its name. The conflict had a profound and lasting impact on the 20th century, shaping the political, social, and economic landscape of the world. The war led to the collapse of empires, the redrawing of national boundaries, and the rise of new ideologies. It accelerated technological advancements, transformed social structures, and left an indelible mark on the human psyche. The war's legacy continues to shape our world today, reminding us of the devastating consequences of unchecked nationalism, the importance of international cooperation, and the enduring human cost of conflict. As we commemorate the centenary of World War I, it is essential to remember the lessons of this global tragedy and work towards a future where such horrors are never repeated.